Welcome. Welcome to the podcast that still doesn't have a name at the moment. I haven't figured that part out yet, but I could figure out the talking part. I am HGV Breezy, the solo host of this podcast for the time being. And if you guys want to catch my socials or anything like that, feel free. HGV Breezy. Um, Today, one of the things I want to talk about is some of the basics I learned doing content creating full time. I have a feeling this podcast is going to become mostly about content creating and my journey through it and my opinions on certain topics and, you know, things along those lines. So I figure I might as well start with it and just discuss some of my observations of like things that happened to me early on that I realized and, if I was starting now, what would I do kind of thing. Um, and one of the first things I want to talk about, because it's kind of a topic of conversation in my stream right now, is setting up a schedule. Um, People that are in my chat or been following me for a while know I suck at making a schedule and sticking to it. Whew, I got heartburn. But yeah, um, scheduling is one of the things I think if I was starting over or if I was starting like today as a streamer, that would be the number one thing I think that I would stress is consistency with the schedule. And it's ironic that I'm saying it because I am horrible with consistency. But the only reason I was able to even go full time streaming is because when I was working full time at the brewery, that was my last job that I had. Was working in the cellar at a brewery. I would work 6 to 3 pretty much every day. 6 to 2:30. I'd be home around 3:30 p.m. and I would be live by 4 p.m. pretty much Monday through Friday. Um, and I would do 2 hours pretty much every single day around the same exact time. And even then, I didn't do that very consistently for a while. I would normally I would stream at some point at night, and I never really cared to make a strict time frame or anything like that. It was just sort of more or less in the afternoon. Um, on days when my wife had the day off, I'd come home and I would just not stream that day. I wouldn't even care. I'd be like, what? I'm not streaming today. And who's watching? There's not a ton of people coming back every single time, so it's not that big of a deal. They're not waiting for me. But once I kind of I always keep my eyes on the analytics and always checking viewership and how many views, how long people are watching, um, comments, the amount of comments on videos, um, oh, just things like that, the amount of watch time, all that stuff. Yeah. And as I started seeing it, I started streaming a little more consistently. Me and my wife would talk about it. I always told her, that this is something I always wanted to do, long term. Like this is my dream. And it's obviously hard to convince your doctor wife that, you know, streaming video games is a serious thing. And, you know, I've never made money off of it and nothing to show for it really, except very, very limited viewership. No really long returning viewers or anything like that. So, um, after 3 years or so of it, still having pretty much no progress, it's kind of hard to convince her that I need to do more, spend more time on it. But one of the things I was finally able to do was just convince her like I gotta stream at 4 o'clock every day during the week. On the weekends, kind of up in the air. But when I started doing that 4 o'clock every single day for 2 hours, it started. As soon as I went live, the first couple minutes, people are there. People are showing up. People at first wants to comment saying first and all that stuff. Even when it was still single digit viewers, it was consistent. A lot of the same people every single time. And I think that right there, and just vibing with the people that are there, not worrying about only having 4 viewers or something like that. Just whoever's there in the chat, chatting, and luckily with Facebook, you can see people who like the stream. So there's tons of people who will like the stream every single time I go live, but they will never comment. So people just lurk, you know, and I completely understand because when I watch streams, I lurk. I very rarely comment unless I'm going in just to say hey, what's up to a friend or something like that. But I'm personally someone who likes to lurk more than anything, so I don't blame people like that. But anyway, with Facebook, you can see the names that come back every single time and just vibe with the people who do chat. And luckily for me, because I streamed for so many years to no viewers, I was pretty good at just doing this, just talking to myself pretty much. I'm not having conversation with anyone, I'm just talking. And Pokemon was one of the first games that really starts to take off for me, doing, randomized Nuzlocks. If you don't know what that is, look it up. It's a really fun version of Pokemon. If you liked it as a kid and you never got back into it, it's a fun way to do it. But yeah, they started picking up, and a game like Pokemon is just so easy to stream, especially for like 2 hours at a time like that. Longer than that, it gets kind of tough because it's easy to just comment on everything that's going on. Like, oh, I got a crit. Oh, I got parried. Oh, I got confused. Oh, I caught a really cool Pokemon. Oh, I learned a cool move. Like, it's just stuff to talk about. It's easy. So things like that were always good for me. So when I had very low viewership or only one or two viewers, if no one was talking, or I was able to keep it lively and feel like a lively chat or a lively stream. Um, some smaller streamers, you gotta go back and watch your VODs, man. Sometimes I'll join someone's stream and I'll sit there and I'll watch. I don't, and like I said, I lurk in their chat. No one's commenting, but you got a couple viewers and 2, 3 minutes, not a single word. It's like just playing a game, not talking. It's like some people wait for the chat to do their job for them almost, and it's like that's not gonna work, unless you happen to have a couple of your good friends that come in and they're gonna be a lively chat for you. Which I mean, early on that might help just to get the ball rolling. But if you can't sit with a chat that has no comments and make content, then live streaming's just not gonna work. It's just really not. So like I said, luckily after 3 years of doing it, I got pretty good at playing video games to no one and just talking to myself and keeping the conversation going. So when I started getting more viewers, it was about this time. I think it was November of 2021. In 2020, November or December, I forget. Might have been December, like literally December 1st. I remember I got a new phone. I don't have the screenshot anymore, but the numbers were something like, my view. I would get like 100, maybe 200 views on a Facebook stream on a good day. And I remember this was when I was streaming every day at 4 o'clock for about 2 hours. And I remember over the course of a week, it went from like 200 to 300 to 500 to 700 to like 800 views. And I was like, wow, this is like, it didn't seem like my viewership seemed a little higher. I started to notice I got like a lot more likes than normal. Not crazy numbers, but I just started seeing that growth. And as more people started to come into the chat, started coming back, I think because I was so used to talking with no feedback that, once I started getting the feedback and people were there in chat, and I feel like it was just so seamless for me to, keep up with them. And for me, that's my favorite part of streaming. Um, I don't want to just play a shooting game where, 20 minutes goes by and I barely looked at chat. I like playing games like Pokemon that, I'm barely looking at the game. I'm pretty much just staring at the chat, talking to you guys. That's my like legit favorite part of the whole thing. So for me, when it comes to streaming games, I like games that are more focused on the chat part of it. But I do have fun with shooting games as well. But yeah, so on kind of what this all boiled down from was the schedule. Cause so once I went full time, I didn't have my job keeping me till 2:30 every day, driving home, getting on 3:30, 4 o'clock. at the same time every day. So I started trying to figure out what schedule would work. And when you're just out of nowhere your own boss, it can be hard to be your own boss. Sometimes, for me, I need a boss. Well, I needed to have a penalty to not being somewhere at a certain time. It was hard for me to, it's still hard for me to adjust to it, but I've gotten a lot better over the past year or so that I've been doing this. Um, some days it's like, for a while I tried doing a schedule where I would stream 9 a.m. to noon, and then I'd get off, and then 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. I would stream because that was kind of the time frame I used to do. So I always kind of wanted to have that little window of streaming so that the regulars from before I was full time can still watch my streams. But some days, I'm up late watching movies with my wife, who's a she's a night owl. So some nights we don't go to bed till 2 a.m. So sometimes I sleep in and I'm tired as hell, and I'm like, I'll just skip a stream. It's who's gonna say something. It's me. I just don't not gonna stream right now. I'll just stream in the afternoon. Um, but when I realize, even now as a full time content creator, and I'm still, capable of doing it full time, but man, getting that schedule locked in is just such a game changer. So, uh, recently, actually, starting today, today's the first day of a new schedule I'm doing. Doing 7:30 a.m. to about 3 p.m. I'm just doing like one, 7 to 8 hour stream every day, and it sucks because it's gonna cut some people out, some viewers that they work 7 to 3, or 6 to 2, or they're in another part of the world they can't watch, which is kind of what always screwed me up with the schedule. Is that I feel like no matter what hours I do, someone misses a stream, and it makes me feel guilty. But I'm starting to just I gotta focus on myself and do what I gotta do to be more consistent with it, because showing up at the same time every single day is just the most important thing. And it's like, if 2 or 3 people can't watch the streams anymore because of the schedule I picked that works best for my life, I mean, it just sucks, but it's the way it is. But it's just something you gotta do. You'll never be able to please everybody. You'll never be able to have a schedule where people in Australia and in Europe, on the East Coast and on the West Coast, can all watch your streams. There's just no time frame where that's gonna work. So just, if you do get the opportunity to go full time, or if you are working a full time job, just make the schedule that works best for you and for you only, because it's just the only sustainable way to do it. Um, like I said, just trying to uh, streaming, trying to please everybody. I have a Discord that's very active. We have a very tight knit group of people that's in the Discord, and I show up to the stream every day. And even the small amount of people that is it's tough. It's impossible. You'll never be able to please everybody. There's always going to be issues between but doing this full time just makes me realize, I'm gonna say it a lot of times, but you just gotta look out for yourself on top of everything. And as much as it sucks to say, it's how it is. I'm sure I'll get some flack in the Discord for saying this, but you know, it's the truth. There's plenty of people who, your viewers will just not watch your stream to prioritize their own life. So why would you, you know, bend over bend over backwards to try to please every single person in the stream, when they'll stop watching you on the drop of a dime and start watching another streamer that just suits their schedule better. So uh, always look out for yourself. Any other things I could think of for people who are either new to full time streaming, or have been streaming and are trying to, get it to the next level? Or I guess if you're, I guess it applies more to that. If you've been streaming for a while, feel like you're not getting too much progress, I think this probably applies more to you. If you're a brand new streamer, just stream whenever you can, get the reps in, get the hours in. It's gonna take practice, so just get whatever time in that works for you. Don't stress yourself too much. It's gonna be a long time before you're really comfortable and really gonna become a good content creator. You won't be a good content creator in the first 2 months. Even if you have success, doesn't mean you're gonna be good at it. You might get lucky, but it's very, very unlikely. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm gonna say is probably more for people who are transitioning to full time or are trying to get full time and are currently part time. Um, like I said, just doing those. You're working a full time job, doing 2 3 hour streams a day, maybe more. Um, I'd say I think one of the mistakes people make that are trying to go full time is they think, I work 8 hours, I have to sleep, 6 hours, say, so I have another 10 hours of the day. I need to stream another 6 7 8 hours a day just to give me a chance. And it's like, yes, on one hand, streaming more hours will help, but on more importantly, streaming consistent time frames is going to be way more beneficial. So if you just stream as long as you can and you get off at 7 o'clock sometimes you get off at 8, sometimes at 9, sometimes you don't get on until 4. Like if you're not consistent with the time frame, I promise you it's gonna affect you. As minuscule as it may seem, if you can narrow it down to a 3 hour window where you start at one time and the other hour comes up, you don't extend it, you just finish. Finish right there and use those extra hours more productively. You know, little things like YouTube shorts. Obviously, can't talk about that enough. Taking every little, just little clips. They don't even have to be great clips, which is another thing I think that holds people back. Like, you gotta post stuff on YouTube. You gotta post stuff on TikTok, on Twitter. If you're not on Twitter and you're a streamer, you're missing out on so much. Twitter is gaming world. That's what it's for. All streamers, content creators, their main platform to really connect with their audience is Twitter, and that's where you got to be on there. But yeah, if you're streaming 8 hours a day and you're working full time, I'm just not doing a good job. You just shouldn't be doing that. I really don't believe so. Some people might think otherwise, but I think streaming 4 hours consistently, same time frames, and using an hour or two to, make sure your audio sounds good. Go back and watch some VODs. See if your audio sounds kind of, messy in certain areas, or if the volumes are too loud on certain things. Try to tune in. I mean, hone in. That's the word I was looking for. Hone in the stream itself. Maybe update, overlays or notification sounds. You know, look through analytics. It can be complicated depending on what platform you're on, but you'll never know. You might find something out that you didn't even realize. It's just so much information out there, and you need to spend more time looking at that information, taking some edits, improving the stream, putting clips out other platforms, all that kind of stuff, um, and just engaging with people. You never know. You could be on Twitter one day and just comment on someone's post. Someone could happen to see it and follow you, and that person could know someone else, and it's just the connections. Are, it's just I can't even explain it. Really can't explain it, especially if you're not on Twitter. Twitter's a crazy world. It's a very crazy world. I feel like there's another topic I want to do. I talked about schedule and just being consistent with it, using your time more wisely. I feel like there was something else that I had that I was gonna say at one point, and I think I lost it. Um, hmm. Yeah, I think I lost it. I think I lost it. But if there's anything else I could think of real quick for people who are part time trying to go full time, or anything I learned from being full time, I think treating it's obviously it's like it's my job. It is my full time job. I spend way more hours being a content creator than I ever did at any job. I used to work for Ocean Spray and work 12-hour overnight shifts. I get forced into work extra shifts. I'd work 60 hours a week. I still doing content creating do more than 60 hours a week. And it might not look like it. It might not always look like it to other people because say I stream 35 40 hours, but I spend a couple hours editing clips per week. Take those clips, upload them to all the platforms, uh, checking the analytics for everything, being in Discord, reaching out to the community, seeing what's going on with things. Just being engaged with people like that. Gaming with, I game with people in the community off stream. I am monitoring the analytics from the videos I post, replying to comments, trying to find ways to improve the stream, like all the things I said earlier with the audio and video, lighting. It's just, it's a lot. It is, but it's easier. It's easier for me to do 60 hours of this than 40 hours at another job. It's not as mentally draining because I love it. And that's always kind of what I try to tell anyone to do is try to find something that you love like this. Like I love gaming and streaming and go for that. So if all this talk about streaming doesn't apply to you, um, trust me, the advice and mindset that I will try to cover and discuss probably throughout more episodes of this, I think it applies to everybody. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'm gonna get better at these over time. That's one thing I've learned from streaming the most is don't be scared to suck at something. I know I'm not going to be good at podcasting when I first start doing it solo. I've never done it. How would I be good at it? Different. It's a different format I've never done before, so I expect to suck at it at first, but I think I'll get better over time. So hopefully some people will have patience with me and keep checking them out. But yeah, hopefully I get a name for this. I'll think of a name. But I should have this uploaded Monday night. Yeah, I'll do Monday night. I think I'm gonna upload it right now. I think I'll spend a little bit of time. I might think of a name, and it might suck, but it's okay. It'll get better. So thank you guys for listening. If there's, I don't know what platform you could be listening to this to, because I'll be uploading it on Anchor, but it'll be everywhere. So leave a comment wherever you're at, or find me on Twitter, HGVBreezy, and if you have any feedback, let me know. I'd love to hear it. If you're in the Discord, if you're one of the heathens, like I like to refer to my chat as, let me know some feedback in the Discord. I'll obviously be there, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Like I said, I'm gonna try to aim for Sunday morning uploads for these, so that most people have the Sundays off, kind of sit back, relax, and kill some time in the morning before the football game. So have a good night, and I'll see you guys Sunday morning. Thank you.